with your hair like that. You should always have it like that.
Well,
It's beautiful.
thank you. You know, it just is in my way when I wear it down, so I don't wear it down a lot. I have to admit, I get pretty fed up with it, and that's why I usually put it up in a bun.
No, it looks so beautiful.
Thank you.
It just gives you another frequency. What
Yes.
can I tell you?
No,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
comprehend
It
that.
is. Yeah, you do. You do. So I want to tell you that a couple of hours ago, I decided to listen to the scent of the rose again. I haven't listened in a few months because I did a few times. And it got me so rattled, moved, and asking, so when is this happening?
Good question.
because the first time I listened to it, I could not comprehend everything. But now that I listen again, it's like it was a preparation for what's happening now. You know, a coming out when it's really necessary. And not that I haven't been working as a rose spy for a long time, but but I'm beginning to feel like, okay, what's next? There's more here. Why am I here exactly? Move to another country, being in another place, and it's all connected to the rose. So it was very moving to listen to it again.
That's wonderful. Well, you know, as we keep expanding ourselves, growing and maturing and allowing the light energy, this photon energy to, as we're conduits to it, as it comes in and begins to expand us, we begin to see more. And it's the it's not the seeing from the natural eyes, it's the seeing from the heart. In this, the essence of that which isn't seen but is really felt and understood intimately. And that's what I see is really happening right now. So it's not surprising that reading it again with the fresh set of eyes from the heart, with all this beautiful light photon energy that is coming in, is going to be seen and felt differently. It's like a stage of maturation is being revealed to us, that the access wasn't there before, but now it's there, and we're tapping into it, and it's changing us, it's changing our perceptions into these beautiful perspectives as these things are coming in as more absolute, instead of it just being kind of the fringe of, well, what is this, what is going on, I feel it but I don't know. It's like now that intimate knowing that is absolutely concrete in the knowing is here. That's like what it feels like for me.
Yes, and I've been getting a lot of much more clarity about reconnecting widely with the rose. It's always based on the rose. And there's much more than the rose, you know, I'm aware of that. But the rose is like the center.
Mm-hmm.
Once I painted a like a Mother Mary or a Magdalene dancing, and coming through my head, and in the heart space there was an amazing symbol. There was a rose, and it was surrounded by a diamond shape, but on each side of the diamond there were 3 stars. That means there were 12 stars. And the rose is the 13 in the
Yes.
middle.
Yes. And so for
Yes.
people who don't know that 13 is the gematria of ahava, which is the fullness of love.
Oh, goosebumps.
I
Yes.
know, me too.
I know. So that was the symbol that I'm integrating more and more.
Yeah.
and together with other things that are coming through for me to integrate during this time. And for those who don't know who I am at all, you know, I would just like to know how to talk, how we connected. And it was the connections through the rose scent recording that you did. That message came to me through someone in Australia
That's so amazing.
that knows me very, it doesn't know me well, but she received it from someone who was listening to the stand. And when she heard it, she said, "This is not for me, this is for you." And she sent it to me.
That's so
Okay.
amazing. That's
And
so
when she
amazing.
and when she sent it to me, I was totally floored. It was a message directly for me. And I start checking, where does this come from? What's this stand? Or who's Carrie? So I sent you a message by email, but apparently you didn't see it. And I could only connect with you months later. And suddenly I get a message from Carrie's husband. I say, why does the husband answer the question? Why doesn't she answer it directly? It
That's
took,
so awesome.
it took me a while to understand that it was your full name. So,
I love
and
that.
from that moment when we start talking, it was like tears and tears and
I know.
tears, and our
I
connection
know.
was amazing. So my story is my journey is totally connected to the rose. It was like waking up. I must say that I spent 45 years in Israel. I spoke the language, and I had no inkling of the sacredness of it because I was not, and I'm not religious, and I never studied anything. But at a late age, really late, I was 50, I really got pushed by my soul to get out of where I was in my comfort zone and start my journey of awareness and awakeness. And I had no inkling, no spiritual friends, no nothing. And the first channeling I got was Yahshua and Mother Mary are with you.
Wow.
Okay, Mother Mary was my mentor, is my mentor all these years. And I call it like the Rose Way. That's the way she guides people, the Rose Way. And it's been quite a journey for, I don't know, 20 years now, and all connected to Israel, to bringing back the Divine Mother's energy to that country and the area, connected to the patriarchal energy there and how it needs to be balanced. And I was doing that step by step, being guided, not knowing all the time what I was doing, but it was like very powerful, bringing light through roses to spaces that I was guided to. So it was quite a journey. And that journey is also connected to Portugal, where I was born, and I am back here. There is a bridge, energy bridge being built through from Portugal to Israel. And there's also a beautiful reason, because Portugal was a nation that started with the Templars.
Mm.
After they came to Israel and they got certain secrets and certain uh, knowledge that was apparently sacred, and they carried it to Portugal, and they decided to create a country based on that wisdom.
Wow.
And only when I got here this time, I'm now in Portugal, did I get my hands into this knowledge. The puzzle is, it's like growing all the time, and it's amazing. So I had to leave everything, to start moving, to do these things,
Yeah.
and all the time I get uh, the codes and the frequencies through my channeled paintings and through downloads of methods, of ways to remind people of their rose.
I love that.
Hmm. That's part of what I do, a great honor, reminding people that they have the rose inside. And mostly women came to me, but there were also men, and that's even more beautiful because they're looking for that balance, the feminine energy, the rose energy, the mother's energy. And apparently I carry that.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I can attest to that in many conversations that we've had, in being touched right here in such an overwhelming sense that all that can happen is tears. It's like tears of joy and tears of that reunification of that energy that hasn't been there for a while. It's been, and it's been very faint. It's like there's been times where people, we could touch it, and there was just like that trace element that was there because it had to be there. The trace element still had to be there. But when you are in the presence of someone who carries it, it's just an overwhelming response. That this avatar, it's an overwhelming response. That's all I can say. And in my heart, and how it manifests is through tears.
Yes, me too. So when we speak, when
I
we
know,
talk,
right? It's
it's like,
waterworks.
yes, yes, yes. And I want to tell you, one of the things you did for me that was so moving was reminded me of the sacredness of the language that I remembered through you, not while I spoke it. And I'm not studying it, I'm just remembering it. The moment
Yes,
you start talking to me, the letters start coming.
yes.
And they came and they integrated in my body, and there were a few occasions, not all the time, but I I was so moved how I remembered, and it was through you. So we came together to remind each other of important things. And that's how it works with people, it's like
Exactly.
you touch each other's frequencies, and something happens, something clicks, and it's so powerful, sometimes even without words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As you're sharing that, I got the image of the little yod, and how the yod is a representation of the hand, but it's also a spark. It's like the spark from Creator. Uh, it's a vision that is meant to be a catalyst. It's because it's part of the Aleph. It's part of that oneness of the essence of the unseen. And so when we come with one another, we exchange sparks. We open our hands. Like I open my hand to you and I give you my yod, and you open your hand and you give me your yod, and then together we connect and we make the Aleph.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's a great explanation. So one of the things that I've been doing, and I want to tell you this because I want you all to feel it, is that I received the knowledge of how to create a space of unity. Like we think that we had to go out of our bodies and ascend to go and connect to the higher realms, and go to earth, also going deep into earth with our roots. And I was shown that I can create a space that is really sacred, where other realms can come and meet us.
I love that.
And this I call the Rose Dome.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told before we start talking that it will be present here while we talk. That's why I brought it up, because it is here. And anyone who wishes to connect with this space can do it. And in this space, there is all that we are: our soul, our consciousness, our spirit, our body, our mind, everything, our teams of guides and guardians, and also those who want to support us. That's like Yahshua and Mother Mary in other realms, in other frequencies, not as they were here before. So Gaia is very important now. Really have frequencies coming up so strongly. And she's supporting us, supporting our journeys, and grateful for what we've been doing. I always receive so much love and gratitude from Gaia. And so if you wish, you can feel this unity and presences of all of us, all those who are watching this, and later on they will feel it. That's what I was asked to do.
I feel it. It's it's overwhelming, actually.
It has to do with the heart, and with the soul being so present, and with inviting all that we are here and now. And we are hybrid beings, we are like a melding of so many uh, beings from stars, different galaxies. We are a meld of that. And those aspects of ours are all coming through now. They're connecting to us, and they're very high frequency, and they can be here now, and they can just support us in our journey. And I'm feeling that very, very strongly. I'm feeling also that beautiful, um, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a joy. The one you talk about and you write about, that heart opening, the softness of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always here, but it's more, it comes more and more. And I guess that is the beginning of something new.
I agree. I think it's the Aramaic word is Chedutha, and Chedutha is connected to the Hebrew word echad. And it's interesting because the way it ends up morphing through the masculine aspect of the Hebrew, where we're talking more about the form, right? The temple, the form. The way it shifts into Chedutha. So the aleph moves from the front of the word to now to the back, to the suffix side. And so now it's still the presence of oneness, that life that is brought to us because we went through the door of the inward man and delivered ourselves of that which we were disconnected from, now becomes the covenant of that essence of oneness that comes through that divine feminine energy, the essence of the unseen, that then becomes formed as absolute. And so I think that what I'm hearing you say, and I keep feeling that word, I feel it really strongly right here, that the Chedutha that we we read in the English scriptures, many of us that are familiar with that, we will hear that the joy, joy that goes beyond all comprehension or understanding. And that's true, because when we experience Chedutha, what you're talking about, this new energy, this new that is happening, this joy, is it's not an understanding, it's an inner standing. It's that divine experiential knowledge of intimacy that once it gets fully integrated into us, we touch it, right? We have those moments, and that's why That's why I wanted you to come and talk to people about the Rose Dome and connecting. Man, I feel this so strongly right now, that when you are connected in that area, that the natural response in our natural state of being is joy, is Chedutha. And so by inviting people into this area that Gaia is specifically supporting for us, that's what comes forth, is that inner standing of what joy is. And I believe that when that becomes manifest, when that door is open, because it's het dalit, it's like you're separated from the door, but then all of a sudden you find the life of the door. That door opens up to you. You're not like standing against it, knocking, going, gosh, I need joy, I need joy. It's like, no, it is now time, it is here. Enter in. Just enter in, but leave your mind at the door. Don't take the mind in, because the mind is what's going to keep you from experiencing it, because it's meant to not be thought about. It's meant to be felt here. And then it will
And you
change the
also,
mind.
you also uh, can give the intent, but you cannot force it. You know, by wanting it so much, it's a bit of forcing. And you can't. It's like you give intent and then let go, you know, surrender, allow it. And sometimes the wanting is the barrier.
I totally agree.
You know, it's like you
That's
so much want to enter. How do I do this? Tell me about it. And that's an obstacle.
yeah.
When you let go and you just focus on the joy of every moment,
Mm-hmm.
enjoy yourself, do things that you love, even if they're small, appreciation of everything. And that's it. You don't need anything big, you know? And that's what I'm experiencing lately. It's the smallest of things that bring us to this place of enjoy now. It's not by entering that door that you'll feel the joy later. It is enjoy it now.
And I think the key to that is truly the heart of just surrender. Surrender the trying, and just settle into the being in that moment. And you're right. I was talking to my friend Steve this morning, and we were discussing heart brain coherence. And I love how science is merging with spirituality in a way that we can see quantumly how we are connected to everything, how we're connected to creator, how we're connected to one another. And that in that moment of heart brain coherence, where all the chaos, all the mindless chatter that's going on up here just settles in. It's like the surrendering of the mind in order to drop in to the reality of the heart. And then you have this coherence. And I think that's probably the best way I can describe of entering into the Rose Dome and into that energy, is that all that chaos, like on the outside of it, there's endless chatter. It's like noise upon noise upon noise that we entertain and engage all the time. It's everywhere around us. And so my heart in if people are going to connect to you, and I really hope that they do, and reach out to you, is that being able to facilitate places like this, or even while we're talking right now, that when you enter in that place, all that noise and that chatter ceases to be. And it's a beautiful place of meditation and exchange with one another, without the noise, without the chaos. And it's entering, and it's like heart, it's like a direct line to the heart. I can't explain it any other way, that it's just it's an experience that really can't be described. But I can say
I
the noise stops. The noise stops.
I can describe it in a way because I did receive through paintings uh, the codes and frequencies of the rose, but I kept asking, and I worked with people with that. You know, like in a visual way, I could guide them to uh, uh, to integrate those frequencies. But I kept asking, there must be an easier way. And I kept demanding as well, okay, we are here to do something. Let's do it with more ease and grace. How can we do that? We've been processing and going through shadows and more shadows. We don't have time for that. We are such immense souls. We went through so many experiences. How can we ever go through every experience and let go, you know? So I received the dome in answer to my prayers, requests, you know? And people say that in this dome, your wholeness, and with the help from teams that I work with, they disconnect you from those places that are not supporting you anymore.
That's so
So
beautiful.
it's like some of the people said, you know, I can see myself being disconnected from a huge computer. And it's like each one has their own experience, right? But this is what I understood. You are being disconnected from the old, and the new can then come through with ease.
Oh, that's so good.
And that's what the dome is about. It's a space where a transformation takes place
I
with ease.
love that. Yes.
And what I do is I only am able to create this space. It's not a meditation, it's a creation. And the
So
moment you
good.
yeah, and the moment you are inside, who does the work? You do it.
Yes.
Your soul, your consciousness, your spirit, your guidance, not me. Okay, I don't know what's going on most of the time. I hold the space. I bring in the roses. I
Yes.
bring in the golden energy. And then I let the person or the couple or whoever is it. I've done it to groups as well. They just are so connected to themselves, to their wholeness, and it's being done, and it's easy, and it's not processing, and it's not going actually going deep into what's being released is not recommended. You know, it's something that don't hold on to it, otherwise it stays again. Let it go. So
You
it's
know,
like,
I got a letter that decided to show up. The letter Zayin decided to show up while you're talking, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, so you're totally describing the Zayin." Because the Zayin is the sword and the plow. It's a letter that it feeds and it nourishes you. So it cuts off that which doesn't serve you, but then begins to plow so that you can be nourished in that moment of having this. And so, like when the dome is around you, it's cutting off the things that aren't serving you anymore. And it's creating a space. And because it's spelled Zayin Yod Nun, it's that spark. So it's a spark that is given to you in here to deal with the things of the fallen nature of the flesh as a seed of life, because the ground has already been plowed up and the things that aren't serving you are cut out and away, so that that noise is gone. It's not there. And so in that moment, the ease of the work can be done.
I am getting so strong with Yeshua wanting to say something. He is just saying this is what he came to do now, to support us to get through all this stuff that we are carrying, all these burdens that we don't need anymore. He's here to help us do that. You know, it's like,
Yes.
and he for me, he is the masculine side, and Mother Mary, more than Magdalene, she is the one with the roses. So he's the golden, she's the roses, and it's it's such a dance.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Absolutely it
Yeah.
is.
And that's the way I see him and her, it not through the old scriptures, although I see that also in another light. I know that he came to do a revolution thousands of years ago. And he planted the seeds for what's happening now. He couldn't do anything then, and he knew that. He knew that. All his team knew it, and they knew that it was a play. It was seeding something that would take a long time to grow. And we were sent now to to harvest all that has grown,
Yes,
you know. And
exactly.
we
And that's the conversation I was having with my friend Steve this morning. We were literally discussing the harvest. And so I'm glad that
really,
you brought that up because it's like this synergy of the synchronicity that's happening, this divine convergence of us being able to fully comprehend where we are now, being able to see the process of what happened, what was sown and what was allowed to grow, even in the English narrative when it said about the tares being sown with the good seed, and don't pull them up, don't pull them up because they need to grow and mature together. And in the harvest time, that's when all the separation that has to happen. We don't have to worry about anything else. So for like 2,000 years, all of this has been allowed to grow and mature. And because we're in time space, everything everything is slow. I describe it like trying to pour molasses on a cold winter morning and the molasses you just pulled out of the refrigerator. It's going to be a very long time to wait for that molasses begin to flow because it has to go the process of the warming up and the acclimation from out of the fridge, and so it's interesting to see that we're going into and where I'm at, with weather wise, the weather's turning and it's starting to get cold, and many places in the United States are getting snow. I mean, it's time. It's the month of December. And so I'm looking at this slow lethargy that we're getting into the dark time of the year for us, and then a spring, so that molasses is being taken out of the refrigerator. And it's going to take a while, but by the time the springtime comes, when we have the equality of the night and the day, because we're just getting ready for we're getting into the solstice, but then when we get to the equinox where light and day are balanced, they're the same length, then the molasses is going to be able to be poured. And so it's being in the moment of where we are with that seed that's still under the soil that is waiting for it to come through to bring forth the new light and life, that we're in this germination period. And it's okay. It's okay to be there because the energies are supporting us. And these are dormant seeds. These are dormant seeds that have been here for thousands of years, waiting for those who would show up, that would be like the lightning rods, the conduits of the photon energy coming in, that would then put that energy into the ground, into Gaia, to allow those seeds to begin doing the germination process. And talk
but
about the length of time.
you can use that rod on people as well.
Absolutely.
It's not only on Gaia, you can just use it on people. So the defrosting is softer
Mm-hmm.
and faster. Like I said, we don't have time.
No.
We're all needed in this journey to bring our pieces together. Each of us
Exactly.
has their uniqueness, and it works when we connect, and it's part of an immense grid.
Yes,
So
exactly.
the more light there is all over the world, uh, so it's about reaching out like you are, reaching out for more and more people, and so am I. It's like, come on, it doesn't have to be hard and it doesn't have to be slow. It can be soft and warmer, and you'll be awake aware of who you are, what you're able to do, what's your part in this puzzle, in this grid. And it's beautiful. When I work with people, I get so emotional. You know that. You also do that. You know, it's you get so emotional to see them opening up. It's like the rose blooming,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so quick nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And then they realize, oh my God, I can do this and I can do this, and it's beautiful.
Well, that's
It's
the
beautiful. We
catalyst,
are
right?
magicians, Carrie. We are magicians.
Yes, we
Some
are.
of us, some of us carry that rod that is a
Yes.
magic wand,
Yes.
and we can activate other people, and them in turn activate others. It's not us doing the whole job. No, those we touch will touch others. And that's the way it works. It should work. By empowering someone else, they empower others. I just finished work with someone who came to me for the Rose Dome. And very quickly she said, oh my God, I'm going to experiment now with these two friends. They're willing, and I'm so excited about it. I said, go ahead, play with it yourself, because it is possible.
I
It
agree.
is, it's magical.
It is. And I kind of chuckle because being in the being raised in the Christian church, there was always so much against magic, and I think it's been completely misunderstood. Been completely misunderstood, and it's been demonized. I use that word very loosely there, but it's been demonized. Yet at this time of the year, we have no problem talking about the Magi that came to bring the gifts to the Christ child. And
Hmm.
it's people don't understand and don't connect the dots of the Magi were dealing with magic. And when you look at the etymology of the word magic, it means to help. It means to help. And so I'm really glad that you brought that up because we are magical beings and we do assist to help wake others up. And we take our spark, our little yod, and we reach out when we're connecting to one another and go, take this spark, let me help seed this into you and to bring you online if you haven't been online yet. It's like this beautiful electromagnetic discharge that happens from us that then all of a sudden just like ignites the heart into this burning. It's like it's already there. It's like a burning ember, but it's very faint. And then all of a sudden the spark energy goes in, and then the whole fire of the heart just whew, and the heart comes online, and the next thing you know, oh, I'm just getting goosebumps. They come online, and then all of a sudden everything changes from that moment. Their perspective has been completely altered, and they start looking around and they look at others that they can do the same process to. So I'm saying the same thing just from a different sense of what that little yod, the power that we have. It's like the smallest letter in the Hebrew and the Aramaic language is the most powerful one. And that's who we are when we reach out and connect to each other. We are that yod. We are that spark. And I love that you touch so many lives by what you do and through your art. Every time I look at one of your art pieces, it speaks. I mean, it just speaks volumes. And that's because the codes are in it. It's like it literally comes in through that photon energy, through light, and then it comes into the vessel and it's translated right to the soul spirit, and no words are necessary. And that's why I believe it's so powerful, because sometimes our words can diminish because our English vernacular, or even a lot of the words that we speak, don't carry the vibration that raw energy that is coming through needs to be brought in without words.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's
That's
just light.
that's
It's light.
yeah, that's what I've been doing for 20 years
I
now.
know.
Is bringing these paintings that you look at them, and it just goes into you. It's a visual way that is very important. It's like reading a beautiful book full of codes. Takes a long time, but when you look at one of these paintings, it's instant, you know,
And you
and
know
the
what I
codes are there.
it's so beautiful to me because I see it I've been feeling kind of like the way to describe some of the processes that are going on for those who are sensing subtle energies. And what I mean is that they're not so dense, they're not so densified in the material realm that they've been lightening themselves up. They don't have, they're not as dense. And so when these light codes come in, for those who have been doing their own shadow work, I'm just going to put it that way, because many of us have been disconnected. The last 2 years have been very much about disconnection, and it's forced us to begin to work on here, but that's allowed us to not be so dense. Your paintings, your art that you bring forward to me is like a feather. It's not a brick in the face. It's like this beautiful just caress of a feather that you can feel, but then it shifts you without having to have a jarring effect. It's this beautiful caress, like a lover's caress on the face that touches the heart and then changes the heart posture without it having to be such a jolt to the system, because we've already been moving in the hard stuff. That's what the last 2 years have been about. And so now I can see the finesse of the work as a beautiful feather that is just caressing us in love, as the dance of the lovers are coming together, cheek to cheek and heart to heart, and you just fall into it. It's like it draws you forward into it. It's not the repelling. It's like it's just this caress. It's just this hug. I don't know how else to describe it, but that's really what I've been feeling, to put it into words as to what's been going on and how your art really speaks that.
It's the
It's the
nicest
drawing.
description I've ever had
Mm.
about my art. Thank you.
Well, it's what it does. What it
Yes, but I
does.
never heard it put this way. It's so beautiful. You know, when on the comments afterwards, I'll put my website in, because it has a gallery of paintings, and you just go in and look at the paintings, and you'll feel it. You know, it's like you interact with these paintings; they're alive,
Yes, they are.
and even through the internet, you can feel it. So I'll put my website there. Go there and enjoy it. You know, just breathe into it and see what it does to you. It's a treat.
I love that. And it is a treat. I mean, it's a beautiful gift. Not only were you gifted with the ability to do it, but then you give your gifts so graciously to others, through so much love, so much nurturing, so much mother energy, that motherly energy of the masculine and the feminine that have been balanced together, that it makes no difference who you are, because everyone can be touched by it. Doesn't matter if you're in the male form or the female form, if you're an adult or a
Hmm.
child, if you're in the latter stages of your life force or if you're in your beginning stages of it. If the heart is in the posture to receive, that you will.
Right, right. And even if the heart is not in a posture to receive, then something will open there. There'll be a click.
It's that wedge. It's
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
wedge
yeah.
that comes in and it starts prying open just enough for
Just
that light photon energy to start coming in.
exactly, exactly. So it's like that's the magic. I'm curious. In Hebrew, nowadays Hebrew, you say magic, Qesem, Kuf Samech Mem Sofi. How do you put that together? Qesem.
Kuf Samek and then Mem Sofit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is beautiful.
What do you get?
Magic. The ability to take the unseen and make it seen. The invisible to the invisible, the place in between the light and the dark during the circle of time.
Oh
That
my
gets
God.
you to the place where you are propped up and supported, hedged in, where you receive the wedding ring and the signet ring, entering into the waters of peace, no longer of chaos, where you've come to the end and received the power of that which will complete you, you then become part of the named, those who have a mark of distinction, yet are of honor, authority, and good character.
Oh my God. That was straight channeled.
So beautiful. I'd never seen that word before, so I'm really glad that you shared that, because I felt that. I mean, I felt like fire. I felt it through here and I felt it through here. That word has been so misunderstood. It's been so misunderstood to become part of the named. You know, it's like I connect to like the book of Revelation when it says that you will be given a white stone that has a new name. It's not that you're receiving a new name, you are receiving that of the named. Those have a mark of distinction, and this is what I love about who we are individually. We are a fractal of the one infinite creator, uniquely displayed. But we are part of the name, of the one name, because we've walked through the fire and we've walked through the water. We've allowed these beautiful elements to come into our life that have refined us so that we are distinct, but we are of the honor and the good character that have authority as we walk it out. And magic has helped us because it's been the unseen forces that have been working in our life. And that's what's so beautiful about the Rose Dome. It's a place of magic. It's Qesem. It's that beautiful place. Oh, I got goosebumps all over. It's that beautiful place that is there to assist and aid, that has both the balance of the masculine and feminine, the water and the fire, because that's exactly what that is. Water and fire is masculine and feminine that are helping us. And what I love about the SHEM portion of it, SHEM is the beginning of Shamayim. You know that. Shamayim is being set in the heavens above. So you're out of the waters below, but now you're set above because you've been lifted out of your own chaos. You've been lifted out. And the Im portion of Shamayim is very, so beautiful. Yod Mem is a word for seas, as water, as you know, the Im. But it is a symbol of the Queen of Heaven. And that has also been demonized. But the Queen of Heaven is taking the bride of Christ as becoming the queen who is one as Christ. In other words, the queen has gone through her wedding day. She's taken the water and the fire of her masculine energies and brought him into oneness right here. And so now she is set with a crown upon her head, which is light, which covers her in and through her. Gosh, I got goosebumps again. And she wields that staff of authority because she became it. And so
Oh
I
my God.
see that. I see that in
This
the
is
facilitation of the Rose Dome.
this is all in the scent of the rose that I just listened to. When it came to the crown and the rod, you know, I felt it. I felt it coming down the crown, and I felt the rod in my hair, my hand. It was amazing to listen to it again and again. You know, it's like it is so powerful, so powerful. I don't know if everyone here listened to that one,
I will
but
put a
it
link.
is.
I will
Put
put a
a
link.
link on the scent of the rose
I
because
will.
it was amazing. There's another thing that I want to tell you all that I think it's so deep and important. It was an experience I had a few months ago. I was reading in a book about the co-creation with God. And then I asked the question out loud. I asked, if we are one, co-creating means two, you know, but we are one. And suddenly this immense peace came down on me. Okay, there was like a yes, you are right. There's no co-creating anymore, my dears. You had the you are now creators. That spark is in us fully. That means we create. And that's what happened when the dome came through. It is a creation, it is not an imagination or a meditation. It's creating out of thin air a space where you go through a transformation. My God, what is that? But that aha moment, because a lot of people talk about co-creating, not anymore. Okay, this is oneness.
It is absolutely oneness.
Yeah, the word itself, co-creating, means two,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. You
So
know,
that,
I wanted to land a plane on this one, and I'm so glad that you brought that up because this this is this is where you and I had talked about becoming queen, and that balance of the giving and the receiving, not giving out of the lack, but the giving and the receiving that were our equal measure in that. And you brought, as you began talking just a few minutes ago, you were talking about how peace came over you when we drop off the two into the one as creator. And I instantly got the word SHALAM, which is the root for shalom. And SHALAM means to be complete. It means to become like safe
Salem,
in mind, body, and estate. It's this
yes,
place, but it's the word Shem that has the lamed right in the middle. So you become complete when that rod of authority is right here. When we begin to engage from this place, then we are rightly balanced between the masculine and the feminine energy. And we have now come to that place where shalem, from the shalom, so shalom is the natural outpouring because it's the piercing of the heart. The vav is entered in. It's the lamed vav. It's like the staff of authority you've now connected to, so you are of the living water and of the fire, and that is what you bring forth in peace and prosperity and health to those who are within your space. But you first have to find it. And it's, again, it's Shem. It's what we were just talking about the named, of the named, that are carrying that, and the staff of authority is really where it is supposed to be. It's not the external. It's like we're given the crown and the scepter, but those then integrate with us on the inside, and we become fused with them. We become one with them, so that everything that we are is in through that creator space. And the word aha, this was something that just moved me the other day, and I wanted to finish with this. The word aha is from Hebrew, and it's that behold or alas or something, and we've used it in the English as like, oh, aha, I have an aha moment. It's actually a word. It's the shortened form word of ahava.
oh my God,
It's the shortened form of the word for love. And so you started
aha,
out talking about the 13 and the stars, and you said it at the end, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're back to the beginning. It's like the aha moment is the love. It's the love of mother, father, of the masculine and feminine energy that is creation itself that we become. So thank you for facilitating. Thank you for being the holder of the rose dome and that energy of the space of creation that begs and invites. It's like the word we beseech thee to come. Take this seed of life that is being presented to you and enter in so that you can become this creation, this oneness, and begin to create, because there's a bunch of things that have already been created, but we have to alter and transmute them. And the way we alter and transmute them is through the energy of love. It's through ahava. Because that is how creation actually was birthed. And that's how we are going to transmute, alter, and change it, is through that very same essence. And we can't do it as a co-creator, because that essentially is saying that there's a deity that is working through us as a vessel to create through us. And now we have been given the staff of authority, the scepter and the crown that says, you have now matured enough, my bride, my queen, my wife, to now go and create.
yes. And there's also the king, not just the queen, all the men listening.
Exactly. You know, in Hebrew, and here's the beautiful thing, and I know you know this. Malakah is a word that is king and queen. It's Malak with an aleph. But Malacha is the king and queen that have oneness on the inside and have manifested on the outside. You are really speaking of the potentiality for those to enter into the rose dome to be the Malacha, the kings and queens that transform as messengers, as those who are the priests, priestesses, those who are the teachers, those who prophesy and bring forth life through the creation of their own mouths to bring forth this revelation of Ahava.
Oh my God, this was powerful, Carrie. When we get together, this is Qesem.
Yes, it is.
We create this Qesem when we get together. It's always like this.
And you know what? Usually I have to go lay down afterwards because there's usually such a profound shift with me and even in my genetic coding that I just have to go lay down and just let it percolate and let my whole being reset.
Yeah, and I also have tears and
I love you so much from the day I met you.
And I love you too, my dear one. We've been together many times, I know that.
Yes, we have.
And
It's like
thank you
it's a
for
reunion.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for always having a timely word for me. Thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for the sharing of the beautiful gift of who you are, your excitement, your creating ability, the nurturing quality, and thank you for sharing your spark of life with me because I greatly share mine with yours.
Yes, yes, you do, you do.
Well, I look forward to our next conversation, and I'm really glad that those who are going to be watching this time that we shared with each other are going to be able to see you, hear you, and feel you, and the gift of you that you are to us as we, and the gift you are to the earth and to Gaia in the role that you were chosen to play, and how beautifully that you carry it out. It's amazing, and I'm so grateful for it. My life has been enriched so much by your presence in it.
Thank you. We are all gifts, all of us.
We are.
It's about finding where our special, unique gift is.
Cross-pollination.
Yes.
All
So
right,
we'll
well,
talk again soon. Love you. I love you. I love you.
love
I
you.
that
Love you.
I before the love you as you show.
Exactly. Until we see each other again, shalom, shalom, namaste.
Shalom, shalom. Bye.